Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. Take a minute to welcome new Geauga Park Commissioner. I see sitting in the back, Brian Johnson. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so we'll start out the meeting with the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of July 1st of 2014.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Speedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye, motion stands approved. And the next one will be the meeting minutes to approve for July 8th of 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Speedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye, motion stands approved. And then we've got the meeting minutes for July 10th of 2014.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Speedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spiller?
And then the meeting, and the meeting minutes then for July 15th.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Speedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye, okay, motions all stand approved. Okay. Number 5 is going to be financials. Heidi?
Financials today include a revenue certification for the Board of Mental Health Construction Fund to certify grant funding for the apartment construction, supplemental appropriation for the County Engineer Building Fund for the Engineer's Office addition, an appropriation transfer from the contingency account to return appropriations to the Sheriff's Office for expenses reimbursed and deposited into the general fund, cash transfer out of the general fund for first quarter state fiscal year 15 funding for the Family First Council, purchase order for Junction Auto Sales for the purchase of a 2014 Ram CV vehicle for the Dog Warden's Office in the amount of $20,582.50. Purchase order for Burton Carpet Shop for carpet replacement for the lobbies and hallways of the JFS building for the maintenance department in the amount of $32,363.07. Purchase order for Geauga Mechanical Company for the removal and installation of 2 annex boilers in the data room for the maintenance department in the amount of $48,110. Travel request for the Office of Community and Economic Development, and a payment to EnviroCom for pay request number 1 for the Thompson Township Sewer Project, Contract A, in the amount of $23,070.75.
I will make those motions.
Second.
Commissioner Speedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye, motion stands approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Okay, Jessica Bolt for aging.
Oh, she's not here. I'm filling in for her.
Are we doing 6?
Oh, okay, yep. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, the Geauga County Board of Education, or Elections, will discuss establishing an election fund for the purpose of preparing to purchase, upgrading voting equipment. So if we can have somebody from who wants to come up and speak on that. Good morning.
Good morning. In order to keep excellent elections, as we have always had in Geauga County, and anticipating the potential replacement of voting equipment, which is this year in its 9th year of life, we are requesting, and the board did vote this morning to establish an election fund, and we are requesting that the commissioners approve that, and we will be sending it in writing. It is per RC 350117L.
And the cost?
The cost would be basically from the chargebacks that we send to the auditor's office with the list. I have done from the 2014 primary to now, the total chargebacks from our office to the general fund, $432,407.55. Had we had an election fund established back in 2010, we would be over halfway there to buying our new equipment without the county taking a big hit. I think it's a win-win situation that we can plan ahead. They anticipate that our equipment has a life of 10 years. We're in the 9th year. I have been assured, because we keep such good care of our equipment, that it should last 12 to 15 years, but we can't count on that. And I just think it makes sense to have a way that we can come up with the money logically. Now, other counties are doing this. The Secretary of State has also come on board saying it's a good thing to do. And some counties give all of it, some a portion of the chargebacks. It would be up to the Board of Commissioners if they do establish this fund. But it would be a continuing fund rather than being a fund on our budget, which would go back into the general fund at the end of the year. The chargebacks for an even year, as you can see on this, oh, you don't have a copy. Sorry, I didn't bring it up. Chargebacks for even years are less because we can only charge back the cost of advertising and the cost of the ballots. In a special election, everything is charged back to the entity putting on the special election. In odd years, we can charge back more. In 2013, we charged back $103,232.04.
Now, you gave us a number, Robbie, for the May primary when you first sat down.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember, what was that number?
For the May primary, it was $7,000.
Okay, then, right, you're right, it's up here, right?
Yeah, everything's,
I thought it was more than that.
She was speaking of the total from 2010
Yeah.
through
to
the May
now,
primary.
it's
Oh.
432, so had
Oh.
they said they'd be halfway there.
Okay,
like-
thank you. I need to follow along, and I didn't have that, so. I have one other question. You people will have to get your crystal ball out here. But in the past, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Geauga County was kind of the leader on scanners, I think, and some other equipment that we had purchased that other counties didn't. And it were required by the state at a later date. And counties did a lot. Do you see any kind of a unforeseen thing that
I can't speak if we have a new Secretary of State.
they may want to change the equipment or
Because what happened
something?
was with Mr. Blackwell, he first came to an association meeting, the Ohio Association of Election Officials meeting, and said he wanted every county to be on touchscreen voting. And we currently had optical scan and successfully optical scan. And other counties had also, and there was great hue and cry. And eventually, he rescinded that and actually came out toward the end of his term saying that optical scan is the most efficient voting method there is. I would hope that we continue with optical scan. It is, the more I work with it, and I have been working with optical scan since 1993, I am more impressed with the accuracy of it every time we have to do a recount. Every time we do an official, the numbers don't change. They don't change with the touchscreen either, except that you have to have the voter verifiable paper have a paper trail of every vote. In order to do a recount that way, you have an adding machine tape that you have to physically go through every voter to count what the total is. I like the fact that we have the ballots. From 2013, I could go pull those ballots out and run them again, and it would come out exactly the same way. We have the ballots. If every power source in the county goes away, we have the ballots and we could still count. And it might be my age, but I just feel that the Optimus standard isn't the optimum voting system.
So then, essentially, again, you never know who's going to be the Secretary of
Right.
State, but there's nothing on the horizon that people are championing that they, this is the next greatest, best, wonderful
Only
thing.
But
the e-poll
regardless.
books. Only the e-poll
The
books.
The
express
e-poll
poll
books, that's off to the side. Each polling place has one of those, don't they? Or-
We do not
No, not
currently,
yet.
no, we do not.
That is in place of our paper rosters where you have to sign
Okay,
on the
okay,
paper.
okay.
This is an electronic format of doing it, which is the way of, it's, in fact, I have it on the budget.
Okay, yeah, you'll have to
Right, that is
comply
not-
at some point in time by buying all
Right,
these.
that
right?
could be, that we have to do it. That could
That'd be a pretty
directive from
major
the secretary.
expense, I would assume.
About 50,000.
About 50,000
Yeah.
for the whole county?
For the whole county, not just
Yeah.
our
Oh,
poll.
well,
No,
all
no,
right.
no, no, it's,
Well, it's a lot of money, but it's reasonable if you're doing the whole county, I think.
but regardless of the type of voting equipment that we would or may have to have, we still need the money for it.
Mhm.
And if we had to go with a DRE, which is the direct read electronic voting system, the touchscreen system, we would have to have, for the registered voters that we have now, we would have to have 386 units. So we're, yes, so we are talking a lot more storage, and that storage could not be in the garage because it is electronics. It would have to be environmentally safe for the equipment. And plus delivery, you know, the delivery of all this equipment, we're talking a lot, but I think, I hope we can stay with optical scans. I also have, this is from a PowerPoint presentation that was given to,
So that's what we can establish based on the revised
Right.
code 35017.
Right.
That we can establish that fund and then accumulate the funds, and then when it's
Right.
time to buy
Yeah.
it, it's kind of like when Opportunity needs preparedness.
right,
Would be good to go.
yeah.
That makes sense.
And we do have a proposal, a tentative proposal
Tentative
for.
proposal. Is that it?
No, I'm not, is that your poll?
That's a tentative proposal from our current supplier for the
Okay.
approximate cost to replace the equipment with as many units as we have now, except only one absentee ballot counter. We currently have two. And that will be another 111,000. So we're looking at approximately,
656.
About 660.
plus the maintenance, which is 33,000.
So we're
Plus
close to
another 111, which would be
800,000.
800,000.
Yeah. to be-
So that's why we want to start to plan now, because
sure.
we don't want to have to come to you.
Well, at the 437 over the last year, we would have been halfway. I see where you're coming from. You would have been halfway there as we started this. Yeah.
It just, I think it makes
It makes good
sense
sense
for
to
all of
start,
us to
you know,
do it,
start
and for the
preparing.
voters of the county. Because we don't want to jeopardize I don't want to be in the headlines.
Well, you don't want to be like Oregon, and sit there for the next 3 months counting.
Right,
I mean, they hand count, right?
Can we have these?
Yes.
Oregon.
yeah. And anything that you need from me, I'll be happy to get you
Well, I just have the one copy, but I'll make sure that we all get,
copies. You can have that.
Maybe Ralph wants to.
well, yeah, I mean, we can give them to
Make
Christie and she
copies.
can make copies of these two, but I think these two are the same, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's approximately 100 voting machines, which is currently what we have. They run about $5,775
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the majority of the cost.
Is there any trade-in value on the old ones?
Yes, a little bit.
Probably for
Probably
scrap.
pennies on the dollar.
It depends on whether you go back to the supplier or whether you try to sell them yourself to another county. That might not be able piecemeal, but
And
not
sometimes
a lot.
foreign countries
Yeah.
wanna buy it.
Foreign countries.
Ukraine.
It won't be like our lever machines, which are currently being used as a fishing reef in Lake County, or in Lake Erie.
Yeah, I mean,
We
they're,
dumped a lot of them.
Terrific.
There
because
is
they're still
some
using
value.
this, but we'd be getting new ones, there's still value, some value
Some value.
Fishing.
in the remaining
But
machines.
as
not
with
on-
all electronics, what do you do with old computers?
Take out the gold, first of all. Any stainless, take it to the stainless guy.
Okay, then if we
Crush the
can,
rest. Put it on a fishing
you want
rig.
to just go ahead and read number 6? Or would we need to take an action?
No.
Or-
No, I don't think.
No, we'll send you the formal
Information.
request. Right,
Yeah.
but we would like
So-
to have it, if we could have it established before
The next,
the November chargebacks.
Yeah,
it
we'll
would
go
be-
through the process with the auditor's office and get it approved, so, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time. Thank you.
Good day now.
Back to the meeting.
Okay, Steve, did you want to
Yeah.
explain number 7?
Yeah, this is simply a case, Margaret Duncan is an adult daycare aide, and she had a health issue come up when she exhausted her sick time. She's back to work now, everything's fine, but you folks need to approve the unpaid leave to cover the time that wasn't covered by her sick time.
We could read number 7.
The Department on Aging is requesting the board approve an unpaid leave of absence of 21.2 hours for Margaret Maggie Duncan for the period July 7, 2014 through July 11, 2014.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Sweeney? Aye. Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye, motion stands approved. We've got number 8 is Department of Job and Family Services.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Aye.
How are you today?
Introducing you some very new hires. Jerry Ray as a part-time youth summer employment coordinator. His new position, she worked 6 years as the Family Self-Sufficiency Coordinator at the Geauga Metropolitan Housing Authority. Prior to that, she did work at JFS for about 30 years in a variety of income maintenance. Susan Stamey, our part-time eligibility specialist, one, is a replacement position. She comes to us with experience at the Waterfront in Richmond Heights, as her director of activities, and also transportation scheduler. She also has been an activities aide as well as a certified tax preparer. Melissa Newport, full-time social service worker 2. She holds her bachelor's of social work from the University of Akron and has just completed her master's of social work from there also. Elizabeth Heckman was full-time child support and case manager, is also a replacement position. She comes to us with her most recent experience as an aftercare coordinator at Women's Safe. She also has experience as an application developer, humane officer, and a deputy sheriff in Portage County. She has an associate's degree in computer science. Nicole Murphy, I see there's a typo, her name is Murphy, there's no M at the end.
Gotcha.
She is, as a full-time social service worker 2, comes to us with her most recent experience as a special investigator with Key Point Government Solutions, and prior to that as a case manager with the Massachusetts Department of Social Services. She also has a Bachelor's of Science degree in psychology from Liberty University. Ashley Hart is full-time social service worker 1, also a replacement position. Comes to us with experience as an intern with the Ohio Department of Youth Services. And she has a Bachelor's of Science degree in psychology and a minor in criminology from the Ohio State University.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Abstain. Okay. So the next we've got the Department of Job and Family Services.
Morning.
Morning.
We have two items for your consideration this morning. One is a update or amendment to our classification compensation plan, making some update changes since its original adoption in 2009. We deleted the language in that plan pertaining to the implementation of our classification pay study in 2009. It was old and not necessary. We also clarified the language in terms of how the staff are placed on steps in the classification plan. We've also changed or updated the classifications that are listed in the plan so that we have the current titles and also the adjustments we're asking to make in terms of our social services staff to put in on the correct pay grade in that plan. Those are the primary changes to the classification compensation plan.
Which we discussed.
Yes.
Okay, if we could read number 9.
The Department of Job and Family Services is requesting the board approve and execute the amended classification and compensation policy at the recommendation of the Executive Director of Job and Family Services that remove unnecessary language, update classifications, job titles, and related designations of pay grades for the classifications to be effective July 22nd, 2014.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spiller?
Abstain. Okay, number 10.
The second item that we're asking you to consider this morning is our compensation staff, compensation adjustments increases for the period that starts from July 1, 2014 through June 30, 2015. I think there's, as we've discussed before in the executive session, there's two notable features to this. One, this will be the first time since we adopted the classification schedule that we had in 2009, that all staff will get to the point where they're on their correct staff, or correct step rather. So we worked through time to try to move them to their correct step. We have tried to do that somewhat conservatively so that it was a reasonable adjustment, not overly large increases. But this is the first time all staff will be to their correct step. The other notable part of this is we are asking that you permit us to adjust the classification assignment to pay grades for the majority of our social service positions. As we've discussed, we had 20%, approximately 20% turnover in our social service staff in 2012, 2013. Looking at the wages, starting wages of comparable positions in other counties, we're at the bottom to some extent of those comparisons. And we need to stem that flow of turnover. Wages is a part of that, certainly not the entire situation, but we think this is a step that we need to take to do that. That would make this overall increase across the board at 4.14%. But again, the cost and risk associated with the 20% turnover of your social service staff is considerable.
So the difference between what we had allocated for you with our regular pay schedule at 3% and what you're asking is a total of $23,000 overall.
Right.
To bring people to a comparable pay scale.
It would bring us in the middle of the comparable rate of the counties that we look at.
Okay, and then the next year it's 3.5, so we would be right in step with the 3.5.
Yes.
So there wouldn't be any additional in the next year. It would be right in.
We'd actually be a little bit below or if we follow our steps.
It would be a little. Okay, I just want to understand that.
Okay, if we could read 10 then.
Department of Job and Family Services is requesting the board approve the recommendation of the Executive Director and grant increases in the compensation of employees as specified in the 2014-2015 JFS Employee Hourly Compensation Schedule to be effective June 22nd, 2014, first day of number 14 pay period.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spiller?
Abstain. Okay.
I would like to make a motion that we add number 11 from the old agenda, which concerns the director's grade and step. If you would read number 11, Christie, from the old agenda.
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve an adjustment of compensation for George Tim Taylor, Executive Director, to grade 22, step 2, $37.25 per hour, to be effective June 22nd, 2014, first day of number 14 pay period.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spiller?
I'll vote no with the explanation that we had executive session last week and this was never brought up.
Motion passes.
All the salaries were brought up. Got a chart here.
No, I don't think that one was brought up.
That
but
was
you
not
were
brought
all-
up.
You were all sent an email with a recommendation for it.
But it puts everybody on the salary
But I
schedule.
thought the schedule.
Correct.
In this
Unlike-
case, it's a 1.8% increase to put
Right.
Tim on a step, just like everyone else.
Yeah, we have other agencies or people in the county who are not consistently or have no rhyme or reason for pay increases. This has a consistent plan going forward, so obviously I'm in favor of it. I put it on there. I guess we move on to the next one.
And I did not make that.
That was not his idea at all.
I mean, that wasn't last week because I didn't include it. I didn't think.
I saw it was on the schedule and I was doing my job.
Thank you.
Okay, Department of Water Resources.
I got.
Hello. The first item on the list is for the Thompson Sewer project, and it's the ODOT permit, and it's the performance bond for that too. This was originally in the service, the bid book that we signed, but now it's the official one with all the performance information that the contractor has supplied.
Okay, if we could go ahead and read number 11.
The Department of Water Resources is requesting the Board approve and authorize the President of the Board to execute a dual obligee rider to performance bond for Envirocom Construction Incorporated in connection to the Thompson Township Sanitary Sewer Vacuum System.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye, motion stands approved.
Okay, then the next item here is for the thing we brought up to you about a month ago about the Bainbridge water system and having that modeled and designed and relooked at, and we had RFPs from different consulting firms, and they came in and we interviewed, basically, gave it the presentations, and we had fixed CT consultants, and the service contract is for $31,000 to do this analysis for us.
Any questions? We could read number 11 or number 12.
The Department of Water Resources is requesting the Board approve and execute the agreement between Geauga County Board of Commissioners and CT Consultants Incorporated for engineering services to Geauga County to perform system modeling and master planning for the Bainbridge water system in an amount not to exceed $31,000.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye, motion stands approved. Thank you, Doug. Okay, the Board of Developmental Disabilities, Stephen.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Warner.
Steve.
Yes, John Staley, he's our consultant on the project.
Hi, John. Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you, John.
A little bit of history is last year we kind of went through and did an analysis on our roofs at two of our facilities, the administration building, which is also the school building, and also our adult services building. They're getting pretty old. I know the adult services building dates to 1987, so we're having a bit of water leakage and stuff like that. After our analysis, we kind of looked at what our alternatives were, and some of the repair costs were pretty expensive. We were looking at around, I think, $300,000. So we thought, well, if we've got 27 years out of the roof, maybe it's time to look at re-roofing.
The roof's gotta be good.
Pardon?
The roof's gotta be good.
Yes, it's, we haven't had any major leaks yet. I better not jinx myself. So last year, the board decided that we were going to go ahead and try to get both roofs done. at a cost of approximately $1 million. We've had some trouble trying to stay within that $1 million budget, but we think we've come up with a solution here. We're going to buy the materials through the state cooperative program, which allows us to just buy directly from the state. They've already gone through the process of legal bidding and et cetera. So we're going to avoid any overhead on the materials cost. We're going to legal bid the actual installation. I think on our information there, we're estimating the labor to install at about $613,000, excuse me. It is a legal bid situation. It's also a prevailing wage issue. And then we also have our HVAC units on the roof, and we don't want anyone to mess those up. We haven't had any problems with those. We're going to get our current vendor who maintains them to actually move them off prior to the start of the roofing project, so it can go as smoothly as possible. But we did seek consultation from the prosecutor's office to make sure that what we were proposing was acceptable, and they said yes.
Any questions?
A lot of money, huh?
They're all original roofs.
Yeah.
Did you say how old those were?
The one at the adult workshop, I think, is 26 or 27 years
So
old.
in fact, I think 88,
And they're all flat roofs.
Low slope, yes.
So are you going to take that, are you going to put a little pitch on it?
More pitch, yes.
More of a pitch,
They're
so it's not.
Funding in several areas.
That's a
There won't
good
be when we're
idea.
done.
Yeah, flat roof in Northeast Ohio.
They've been good to me.
I bet they have. Kept you in dollars.
Okay. You can read number 13.
The Board of Developmental Disabilities is requesting the board grant permission to advertise for bids for the labor to install the Bessie Benner Metzenbaum Center 2014 Adult Workshop Administration Building Roof Replacement Project to be held on Wednesday, August 13, 2014 at 2 o'clock p.m. Notice of this bid opening will be advertised on July 25th, 2014 and August 1st, 2014 and on the county website.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Stewart?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
My motion stands approved.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to bring up number 17. I had a chance to read Chase Scott's resume, and there was also another resume that came in, and I had a chance to look at both of them. And, you know, I was different about it because I like our vetting, but I think he would be a good addition to our mental health board. I mean, I know we haven't a vetting process in place yet, but I did have a chance to read over the resumes, both of them, because there was another one that came in, because I was concerned about that, because when there's no other resumes, you know, you say, oh. So, that's my feeling.
Do you want to take these in order, or?
Well, I just wanted to take 17 first.
That's fine.
I just felt that, you know, he's got a good resume. It was good. I had a chance to read them both. So over the last weekend, I had a chance to evaluate that. That was my point of view.
Okay.
If I can comment, I read them both, and the problem with selecting him, other than when we, a month or so ago, when we nominated Jeff in the back, or I nominated Jeff in the back, there was a discussion
On a vetting process.
on a vetting process, which we have yet to establish or even start, from my knowledge. I spoke with the prosecutor this morning, and he assures me that he can get us one reasonably quickly. That's, we treat everyone, and the qualifier for this is if they are a member of a board that has taxing authority. We have a member on here that's for a volunteer position, unpaid, which that's the NOCCOG, which they have a hard time getting people to come in because the meetings,
Right.
they're unpaid, they're in the middle of the day, they're business people that you're looking
Yeah,
for.
they're always trying to do it in the middle of everything.
Right, I mean, they have to take out a block of time out of the workday to appear at those. I have no problem, if you're making that motion, seconding the motion on the Mental Health and Recovery Board. I just want to go on record as saying we need to get an official board-adopted vetting policy for any job where the board has taxing authority or input on taxing authority issues. I don't hold anybody that's real busy like the prosecutor's office to a timeline, but he told me I could probably have you something in 2 weeks. Now, he could take 2 months if we don't have another appointment between now and then. I mean, it's the idea of getting something in a timely fashion, so we don't have the issue that, shame on us, we knew about with Jeff back in
resumes.
May or June or whatever it was, but if you want to go ahead with that one,
You want her to go ahead and read it? Yep.
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board appoint Shay Scott to the Geauga County Board of Mental Health and Recovery Services for a 4-year term ending June 30th, 2018.
I make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Speedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye, motion stands approved.
That takes us back to
15.
Number 14, actually, for the
NODCOG.
Yeah, not board. That's tough to get people on that board, I'll tell you.
Yes.
Did you want to explain that a little bit? Dave?
Yeah, and again, kind of like I said at the end of the last meeting, we were made aware that there was a representative from another staffing agency, Manpower, that expressed interest or willingness to sit on this board. And Commissioner Rear said it can be tough to get private sector people to come and sit on these unpaid boards in the middle of their workday. So when that was made, we were made aware of that one. I had the idea that we might want to contact Mancan, who's new here in town, and see whether one of their employees would be willing to sit on the board, and Casey Gerhardt was willing to step up and do that. So that's why this is before you today.
Can I just add to that?
Yeah.
I'll let you know that there are several other vacant positions on this board that we are still looking to
So
fill.
once you get your vetting,
We
after
have-
this,
we have
these
one
would-
that
will.
has shown an interest in one of them, but we will still have 2 open ones after that
Right.
that we still need to find
And-
replacements.
And they also have criteria
That's a
for
tough
some of these spots,
one.
correct?
Correct.
I mean,
Yes. One is an
it's
economic
not as
development,
though,
one is another business
I mean,
representative.
it's a workforce board, and I'm sure there are people that would be great value, but that may not be in the workforce.
Certain criteria.
Yeah, they're looking for people that are in the workforce that can bring things like this lady who, this is the firm that we
Works
hired
with
Debbie
them.
from.
Right.
Yeah.
If hiring Debbie from this firm
So jobs will hire
is
them.
any kind of an indication, they know what they're doing.
Okay, so 14, if we could do a read on that?
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board appoint Casey Gayhart with Mancan Incorporated to NODCOG Area 19 Workforce Investment Board, who have to serve as a business representative for the term ending June 30th, 2015.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Speedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye, motion stands approved.
There's one other one here I want to
The
add.
Raymond Rodelli.
The number 16 on the old agenda. Christie, if you would read that
Well,
one.
before we do a read, I'd like to comment on that. I think that that's a situation where I believe that we were going to have some form of a public discussion, Dave, that was supposed to get set up as far as a list of some issues that were brought up to all the commissioners' attention.
Well, there was some documents received here by the office without a name on them. So there's
Anonymously.
some allegations, and then the library
No
board
name.
provided kind of
Update.
kind of their take on that same set of allegations. So if that's, you talk about having a discussion, to kind of go over those.
Right, because I have not seen that.
Oh, you didn't get that?
I have not seen the update.
Maybe Ms. O'Connor would want to speak to
It was
this.
done electronically while you and I were on vacation.
I
because
got it.
when we got back.
I did not receive it.
Yeah, I received it.
Yeah.
I'll go through my.
Well, I
But
think
Ms.
that-
O'Connor, she's here. She's got her
Well,
information.
more importantly, at this time, I'd like to say, from my position, and from other boards that I've worked on, if you want to send a letter of complaint, a letter of concern, and you take the time to write the letter, could you take the time to sign your name to the letter? If you send it anonymously,
It does.
it really probably should just end up in the basket.
Well, I can tell you this, I think that there's, I disagree with that, and I disagree with it based on the fact that, under the whistleblower clause, somebody does not have to put their name on something in the sense of fear of retaliation, fear of exposure, fear. There's a huge legal mess as far as mandating that policy. This is something where if somebody brings it to somebody's attention, especially in the public eye, of some improprieties, they should not have to put their name on it. It should be our responsibility as the county commissioners that take a responsible position to look at these. And if there's concerns, they need to be addressed and looked at. And I just, my whole thing is this, is that this process, I have no problem as far as the candidate. I actually tried to call him yesterday. We played phone tag. I was not able to get a direct conversation, but it's a situation where we've just gone through a situation where 5 minutes ago we talked about a vetting process, and now all of a sudden now we're saying from this point on we're just going to do this, and now all of a sudden we're going ahead with another appointment 5 minutes later. So
A reappointment.
Or reappointment.
okay, well, reappointment, but whether it's an appointment or a reappointment, I think that there still should be a vetting process in place. And I think that if we're going to truly establish a policy to say from this point on, it shouldn't have any bearings on whether we do it from at the end of this meeting or before this meeting. But I mean, we could play back the tape from this point on. We're going to have a vetting process. But in addition to that, is that there were some concerns on that paper, and I really take that offensively for somebody to say that we're not going to take a complaint that somebody doesn't put their name on. It's like, at the end of the day, if it's one of our own county employees from a department that wants to tell us anonymously, and they're scared for their job, that we're going to basically circular file their complaint, it's ridiculous, it's ludicrous. It makes no sense, and it's an absolute irresponsible statement. And I think that there is a position that we have to take to assure that there are no problems. And as far as to receive something electronically, I have not. And to be able to sit here, to be able to fairly vote on something without that explanation. And from my conversation with Dave was we were going to have a public meeting to basically have a questions and answer session, and obviously that didn't happen at this point either.
That I was not aware of.
Yeah.
I can make sure I get you that information.
I never heard a discussion of a
Well,
public
that
meeting.
was me talking.
Well, we
to Mrs.
certainly
Miller.
have the director of the library here to answer those questions. And I think when you're in court, I don't think the court takes hearsay as evidence. I'm not a lawyer,
I just-
but I mean, they want.
I would
hard-
ask that we read number 16 from the old agenda.
I disagree with that though, Blake, because it's.
That's fine. You stated that you disagree with it. You've made your point. You stopped. Now I'm making the motion that we read number 16 from the old agenda.
But I want to go on record basically stating that this motion is if you want it read, we'll read it. And my position to my fellow commissioners is I don't have all the information, and I think that in the eyes of the public and public trust of us doing our job, I have not reviewed the facts of that complaint, and I think that we need to look into it further before we make a decision.
That's why you get to vote no. Please read number 16.
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board reappoint Raymond Rondelli to the Geauga County Public Library Board for the term ending June 30th, 2021.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
No. Okay. So, moving on to
18, 17.
actually, with Mrs. O'Connor here, can we establish a date to actually discuss publicly the concerns on that list of
Can you do it now?
issues or concerns?
Certainly. Certainly, we can do it now, we can do it
Do it now.
anytime you like.
You don't-
It was
Do you,
mailed-
would you like to come up and sit down?
Do it
It was
now.
mailed by US Mail in 3 different envelopes to all 3 of you commissioners. Immediately, it is not my work, it is the work of the library board. I have with me today 3 of our library board members, Karen Delano, Kate Patrone, and Paul Newman, who are all here. This is their issue more than it is an administrator's issue. We already have a vetting process in place. When there's a vacancy on the library board, we advertise for it. We go forward with the advertisement, and we interview people, we share information. I have shared with you the letter on June 5th requesting his reappointment. I spoke with you, Mr. Spitaleri, 4 weeks ago tomorrow, giving you Mr. Rondelli's telephone number if you wish to call him. I understand you tried to reach him yesterday. We have all of his qualifications in place. We also, the library board, put together a document that they developed answering all of these questions with copious information, a long document that was mailed to all of you so that you would know. I don't like the tone of this conversation automatically assuming that there's something wrong at the library because allegations are made. What we have is a disagreement about how the library board should be run and what we should be doing for our public. And we have people in the, a couple in particular that could be identified from this document because of the public records request that they shared with you in their complaint, anonymous complaint, that were provided to them. They don't like us buying t-shirts because we're celebrating the library's 50th anniversary and doing a marketing campaign. The prosecutor has said that's an appropriate expenditure. The library board believes marketing is the #3 priority for this year and is spending money on that. They don't like us spending money for our staff development day. Once a year, all 180 of our staff gather together for training, information, all kinds of where the library's going, the state of the library address. We have no place in our libraries large enough to meet. They would like us to meet in the libraries anyway. It's not safe. We've met in the garage, we've met under tents. We've done everything we can to keep costs down. Now we go to the Federated Life Church. They believe when we do this day, we should not provide food for that day, that people should brown bag their lunches, that the public shouldn't be paying for other people's lunches. We found it's more expensive to find the refrigeration and heating to serve 150 people lunch. It's just a different perspective. It's actually looking, they are unhappy with my salary and the salary of our assistant director and our fiscal officer, which you will find ranked number 12 of the 25 libraries similar to us, right in the middle. The library board has taken the stance that it should be right in the middle. They object to salary increases given to the library in the past. They picked the years after our levy when we restored the 2% that everyone was cut. We shared that information. We went back to the years, many years, since 2001 when our staff has gotten no raises at all. Those are all the kinds of complaints. I can go through them one by one and share the answers now, or I can make a meeting, and I am glad to discuss this in public, because the public library operates in the area of information. We want to share information about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what we're accomplishing. And what we're accomplishing are great things with huge use of our library, highest per capita circulation in the state of Ohio. I will defend for the library board if they ask me to, or they may defend for themselves every single one of the issues that was brought forward. Mr. Spitaleri, I'm sorry it wasn't sent to you, but the library board directed me to send it to you as soon as they completed the document. That was 2 weeks ago.
Right, and I haven't received it, so I'm just, and that's not your fault or anybody's fault, but I'm just saying I haven't received it.
Fine. I just want to absolutely clear the air that we're not trying to hide anything. If you want to meet at your very next meeting next Tuesday, I'll be here. If you want me to be here Thursday night, we'll find a way for somebody from the library board to be here Thursday night. I have no problem sharing the information. You may wish to review the document first before you have a public meeting, because everything is there that you need. And I know that Mrs. Samiti said she had a chance to read it. I hope Mr. Rear did too. I appreciated it even being shared with me. I do not appreciate coming to the meeting in June and finding out it was pulled with no communication. I don't appreciate coming today and finding that it's pulled again. I understand you want to go through a vetting process, and I'm willing and told you on the phone I would help you with that, because we do have a vetting process. We advertise in the libraries, we have forms people fill out, we interview, we take a recommendation to the board. The board itself, I don't do this, I facilitate it. I don't choose my own board members, I don't have any part of that. then the recommendations are sent to the judges for 3 of the board members and to you for 4 of the board members for your consideration. So you tell me a date, I'll be there.
Would you have
take a chance to read, I'll be there.
Would you have an issue or an opportunity if it's agreeable with the county prosecutor to share your vetting process with him?
For us.
For not only review, but also for maybe suggestions for, you know, he doesn't need to do the work twice. If you have a...
I have it with me today. I have the questions we ask, how we advertise, what our deadlines are.
I'm not, you know, he doesn't
for.
have to take it. I'm just asking that if you would share that with him, he could review that to let us know going forward or borrow from it if he chooses.
Sure. Be glad to. Be glad to. It's been in place for 20-something years. We've been doing this where we advertise publicly. And we've brought many people to you as a result of that, most recently 2 of them in 2011. We're looking for geographic diversity, people from around the county because we serve such a large area. We're looking for different expertise in terms of the professions of the people. We even look for people who have children in school because at one point our board was aging and we didn't have anybody with children in school. We have all those guidelines that we look for.
To make sure you have a
And I think the one thing I really want to laud about this is that I would love for the commissioners to be more involved in the appointment process. I think communication between a board that appoints the library board and the library board is healthy, gives you an opportunity to know what we're doing. I think the best way to do that is to have open lines of communication, to ask questions, to let us know, not to find out at a board meeting that because other things are going on or anonymous complaints have been made, that we're hit upside the head that we're not going to appoint the person that you're recommending, not having any idea what's going on. So I welcome you. I welcome you to ask those questions in public session for us to answer them.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So are we setting a date right now, or are you going to get back to me?
Next Thursday's not a good.
Going to be pretty busy.
Yeah, it's not a good day.
You let me know.
Okay.
And thank you for the appointment.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute Resolution 14-124 establishing the location and time of the August 28, 2014 regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners be held at the Geauga County Fair at 10 o'clock.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion. Do we know is it the junior?
It's
Yeah.
What's it called? That
Junior fair stage.
Junior fair
4-H
stage, okay.
stage, yes.
Right,
It does say that in the resolution.
Just up from the
Okay.
milkshake booth.
Before you vote, I just want to make sure that, that you know that by having this meeting, this would be normally the 4th Thursday of the month. That would normally be our evening meeting.
But it'll be during the day.
It'll be held at 10 o'clock in the morning.
That's good. That's good.
Well, if we have it in the evening, be competing with someone competing on that
On the
stage.
It's probably a band
Yes.
to be
You'll have to work
specific.
together a dance routine or something.
You move?
I don't think that'll
She
work.
did, and I
So
seconded
moved.
it.
And I second it, so we just call the roll?
I'd love to see these guys dance. What do you find?
Yes.
Commissioner Rea.
Yes, I didn't hear you say time.
Okay, for the acknowledgements, we've got the monthly inventory report, consolidated investment portfolio, and obligations and security monthly reports filed by the Treasurer's Office for Geauga County for the month of June 2014 pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 135.35L, and a monthly report filed by the Geauga Sheriff's Office of an account of expense for the inmate meals for the month ending June 2014. And then for our meetings, we've got the 24th. Commissioners will hold a regular session beginning at 6:30 p.m. in building number 8 with a discussion regarding gas tax with Ohio Department of Transportation and the Northeast Ohio Area-Wide Coordinating Agency, NOACA. On the 29th, Commissioners will hold a regular session. And then on August 5th, Commissioners will hold a regular session, which will include a public hearing at 10:20 regarding the proposed amendment of the standard specification and procedures for the design and construction of subdivision roads in Geauga County. And then on the 6th of August, preventing employment claims before they occur, 2 p.m. at 470 Center Street, building number 8. On the 8th of August, we've got NOACA External Affairs, 8:30 a.m., Policy at 9:30, and Planning and Programming, 11 o'clock a.m. On the 12th, the Commissioners will hold regular session. The 12th, the Planning Commission meeting at 7 p.m. in the Planning Commission Room, Building 1C, 470 Center Street, Chardon. And on the 14th, the Commissioners will hold regular session again.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.